When we think of mountain men, we imagine legendary heroes like Bill Cody, Kit Carson, or Jim Bridger. Sturdy souls who lived off the land and brushed off hardship like a patch of powdery snow. Enos Mills, the father of Rocky Mountain National Park, was cut from a different cloth. The naturalist, author, miner, and outspoken advocate carved his own path as steward of our Purple Mountain's majesty. An unlikely journey for a frail Kansas farm boy doctors didn't expect would reach his teens. As a child, Enos Mills was too sickly to help with physical chores. He would pass the time indoors, listening to his mother's stories about Colorado, where she and Mr. Mills had homesteaded years before. When he turned 14, a self-reliant Enos moved to Colorado with his parents' blessing. He was among the thousands who flocked to the Rockies in the late 1800s, hoping to restore their health in the fresh, dry, sunny climate. He came to stay with relatives in Estes Park. When his cousin led him up Long's Peak in 1885 for his first climb, Enos was awestruck. At just 15 years of age, he had found his calling in the mountains and the passion to sustain it. A passion that moved him to climb Long's Peak another 340 times as his life unfolded. Over the next 2 summers, Enos studied, explored, and built a small cabin across the valley from Long's Peak. The cabin stands today, over 130 years later, as both a museum and a lasting tribute. For several winters, Enos found work in the Montana copper mines. He advanced quickly through the ranks to become a stationary engineer, which served to strengthen his love and appreciation of nature and allowed him to travel extensively. When Enos was 18, he traveled west to see the Pacific coast, where, while walking on a beach, he had a chance meeting with renowned conservationist and Sierra Club founder, John Muir. It was a profound connection that sparked a lifelong friendship. Muir encouraged Enos to pursue his interests in the natural world, to join the cause of conservation, and to write about his adventures in the wilderness. And Enos took his friend's advice to heart. By the time he was 35, Enos could claim that he had built a campfire in every state and territory in the Union, all without carrying firearms of any kind. He coined the term nature guide, and his methods later became the standard for the National Park Service. True to his promise to John Muir, Enos began giving public lectures and writing articles. Magazines like the Saturday Evening Post, Cosmopolitan, and Atlantic Monthly featured his stories. Many found their way into the 18 books he published. In 1901, Enos bought a ranch from his cousin and later changed the name to the Long's Peak Inn. The rustic inn was reviewed by famed travel writer Lowell Thomas as one of the 3 finest properties in Colorado. Organizations across the country began asking Enos to speak on forest and wildlife subjects. His years in the wilderness as a guide and his experience as a miner gave his presentations a unique perspective on conservation and natural resources. In 1907, President Theodore Roosevelt appointed him as a forestry lecturer for the new U.S. Forest Service. With help from influential friends like American Civic Association President J. Horace McFarland and famed Estes Park hotelier F.O. Stanley, Enos lobbied Congress relentlessly to preserve the natural beauty of the Rocky Mountain region. He encouraged the founding of the Colorado Mountain Club in 1912, which advocated for establishing the national park. On January 26, 1915, President Woodrow Wilson signed the bill creating Rocky Mountain National Park on 230,000 acres between the towns of Estes Park and Grand Lake. At the park dedication, in his keynote address, Enos Mills said, "In years to come, when I am asleep forever beneath the pines, thousands of families will find rest and hope in this park." In a sad twist of fate, this frail farm boy who grew strong and sturdy through outdoor living and rose to such influential prominence as the father of Rocky Mountain National Park died suddenly in 1922 at the age of 52. Today, his national park attracts 4.5 million visitors each year. Mills Lake, located inside the park, is named in his honor. Tonight, we extend that honor to this unsung Colorado hero, this unlikely mountain man turned triumphant conservationist, by inducting Enos Mills into the Denver and Colorado Tourism Hall of Fame.